All right.
Wait, are we live?
We are, yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely live.
All right. Hello and welcome everyone to Gamestate episode 25. It is Monday, January the 21st, and today we will be talking about two GPs. GP Sydney, GP Bilbao, and Star City Dallas, as well as finishing up the rundown on the Gate Crash spoiler, as the full card image gallery has been released. I am your host, Adam O'Winner, you Ragsdale, and with me, as always, are Glenn Jones, event coverage coordinator for Star City Games.
Hello.
Stephen Flavel, poker pro and magic enthusiast.
Everybody.
And Cedric Phillips, professional wizard.
Look, who cares about Magic, alright? Seattle Supersonics are coming back to town! We did it! We have a basketball team again.
Congratulations.
We can talk about Magic if you want. Alright, we can talk about Magic too.
Alright, I'm
I
pleased
could
to
go
hear
either
that.
way, honestly. Like,
Oof. Basketball, not my
You want to talk about basketball? We can talk about basketball.
not my foremost sport. Can we talk about GP Sydney? Is that...
Sure.
I'm not like wild about it, but I prefer it to basketball at this juncture. GP Sydney was the last of the Return to Ravnica limited events. Was of course in Australia. It was won by one Alan Zhang, sporting the mighty Rakdos Shred Freak, in a top 8 which also included such luminaries as Tomohiro Saito, Martin Yuza, and Pro Tour Return to Ravnica winner Stanislav Sifka. And in this week's limited segment, as opposed to last week when we looked backwards on Return to Ravnica, this week we are going to look forwards to Gatecrash Limited and speculate about what is going to happen with the next 5 exciting guilds. So let's start with Cedric. My first question is, which guild do you think you will most enjoy drafting?
For me, I will be drafting Gruul. Probably extensively Gruul. And the reason for that is, if you guys know me at all, and Glenn, I know we had this conversation when we were on air at SCG Live in Dallas, I like attacking with nothing. It's like my favorite thing to do in Magic, attacking a 2-2 into like a 3-4, and seeing if my opponent has the gall to block. This is going to make it a lot harder, so that means attacking with nothing is going to be so much easier. And every time I get in some damage when I don't have a pump spell, or like a removal spell or anything, I feel like such a man, and I just get to do this a lot when I'm playing Gruul. So I'm 100% just going to be drafting this deck and just attacking with Stone Nothing over and over and over again, and just see if my opponent has the gall to call on my attacks. And if he doesn't, I have nothing, I'm just going to feel even better. So it just got even easier. My favorite thing in Magic, sneaking in points of damage.
Alright. Glenn, do you have a read on where you want to go?
I don't have a specific read just yet. I know I like the Simic and Gruul cards more. Like green seems just like a really good place to be. I haven't seen like a lot of cards I thought felt rancid or anything like that. I'm not really interested in trying to make Cypher work. Not super excited about Extort as a limited mechanic in and of itself. I already do pretty well when I draw a bunch of spells. Adding a little drain onto them is not going to usually be that big a deal. And the battalion mechanic, also when I have, 3 creatures on the board attacking, I tend to be pretty good in those spots too. So I'm not super excited about setting up those triggers. So that means that the green mechanics are really the ones that I'm going to be as a special player in the decks I'm going to be looking at. I also did want to give a minor shout out. This was actually a really sweet GP top 8. I don't know how much people actually follow, especially the New Zealand or Australians, but like there are a lot of good people from that area in this top 8, in addition to the out-of-towners like Justin Cheung, Dan Unwin, Aaron Nicastri was on the outside looking in top 16. Like I was following it for most of the weekend and impressed by the large combination of hometown defense in addition to out-of-town success.
Yeah, you did turn into a garbled transmission a little bit in the middle there, but...
Oh, sorry about that.
It's the shirt. It's the disgusting shirt.
You were alright at both ends. There was some information in the middle which may have gotten lost, but
All right. Well, it was a sweet top 8. That's the long and short of it.
All right. And you like green decks, right?
Yeah.
Was the beginning? Yeah. All right. Good.
Yeah.
Steven, you have any thoughts?
I agree. That's a pretty sick top 8. Um, I think Gatecrash is going to be interesting with only 4 guilds. I think that, like, Cedric, your desire to attack and not have it is going to be challenged by the fact that, like, every card in Gruul is a creature and a combat trick. I think that, like, Gruul is just going to be very, very good for limited. Because what you need the limited is to make sure you cast your creatures and then have a couple of combat tricks, and they, like, do both at once. And it's also going to be, like, very boring to play and fairly tedious to play against. So I'm, like, fairly worried about Gruul. I like the other colors are doing fun things, and they don't seem very good. And then Gruul is just like, this is what the perfect limited deck should look like every single time you draft it. So that's like my initial impression of Gatecrash, and I guess I'll see what happens.
Alrighty.
No one in the Orzhov camp. Nobody likes it.
I like
Understandably so.
Orzhov more than most. Let me tell you that. I do not think Exort would be. I don't think it would be unreal to have that have no activation cost. Just
Me
to
neither.
have, like, if it did that, I would feel like it was on the power level of Gruul.
The only thing I can think of is maybe like that would actually have effects or applications in like Legacy or something like that. There's just some deck that can like allure and style you to death if you don't have to pay for your extort. But I'd have been okay with it probably.
I don't know if they can make that free. I mean, free.
Maybe
Ugh.
just like the first time per turn, and it's free. I think that would be better than as it is, where you have to pay for it and can do it multiple times a turn.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we haven't played with the card yet. See what's gonna happen. Maybe the first time it's free and then you just get to chain off a little bit. It's a little bit scary thinking of that, just like tacking that onto a 2/2 and it's just all upside then. But I don't know. Again, like Glenn, when you were talking about it on Saturday, just like how it like doesn't really function very well because you want to like it's hard to set up. I guess is what the point you were making with Extort or something. I mean, it's just like a difficult ability with like all your spells costing 1 more mana. I don't know how this would be good. I guess it just seems really hard to just delay all your spells just to gain 1, drain 1. I don't know. I want it to be good.
I will say that my first initial impression of the spoiler for limited for me was that I just wanted to like murder people with Ember Beast and Ember Beast related accessories. But yeah, your point that like green red seems better than red other things seems largely correct, echoing sort of both Steven and Cedric. But yeah, I don't know how you can look at the spoiler and be like, well, I really want to play this battalion creature, get him hoping that I can draw 2 other guys to power him up when you could just have like a bunch of solid guys that are also giant growths.
Yeah.
Giant growth, quite good in limited.
Yes, it is.
Expert analysis.
It is, in fact, almost Cryptic Command for those of you who read articles off the mothership. Alright, let's go to Bilbao. It was...
Bilbao Baggins.
Yes, there was a modern GP in Bilbao, which was won by one Mitchell Manders with blue, white, red. And you're going to get the whole top 16 this time. The top 16 was 6 Jund decks, 5 Birthing Pod decks, 2 Scapeshift decks, 2 blue, white, red decks, and 1 Gifts deck. So an awful lot of Jund, an awful lot of Birthing Pod, and then a scattering of some other things. And my one quick question from this tournament is, why did we see so much birthing pod, and are we going to continue to see like a huge amount of birthing pod in addition to the standard huge amount of Jund when we look at modern tournaments? Cedric, birthing pods.
Powerful deck. It's a really powerful deck with some flexibility, and I think that's the reason that you do see a lot of people playing it. I'm a little bit surprised that we don't see more Malaria pod. I see mostly your Nyapod deck with the Kiki Jiki combo here. I think it's all Nyapod decks and no Malaria pod decks. Yeah, I just checked. Yeah, there's like a Malaria in the sideboard. A couple of these decks. I mean, this deck is a deck I've been streaming with, and it's a powerful deck, but it also is, kind of inconsistent, even though it is flexible, just because you have to decide if you want to play, bullet cards like Haven Mind Sensor in your main deck and Aethersworn Canonist, and you can definitely have a card to hate against every single deck, and then by doing that, your draws are going to be a little bit awkward. So, there's the argument of cutting down on some of those bullets and making your deck a little bit, more streamlined, or do you want to have the bullets so you can have the flexibility to be able to beat every matchup? At the end of the day, this deck is powerful because Birthing Pod is a powerful magic card, and a lot of people don't know the chains that you can use to kill someone. If you have a 1 and a 2 in play and, 4 mana, they're dead. If you have a Glenn, you don't know the chains? If there's a 2 and a 4 in play, they're dead. So, there's a lot of stuff I'm not sure people know about, the chains that are included in this deck, and it can't just kill you out of nowhere. So I think that's, a good reason to play. It's like, to play this deck, excuse me. Another reason this deck is kind of good is because its matchup with Jund is really close. It's like 50-50-ish, honestly. And a lot of people try to say that they have that matchup against Jund, but I found it to be incredibly, incredibly close. So I think that's a reason to play this deck. And if you have everything built right with your bullets and where you want them, you're going to have a pretty good weekend, as we see a lot of people did quite well at this Grand Prix. So I think it's a good deck. It's a little bit frustrating, but it's a good deck.
Do you think we will continue to see as many or close to as many pod decks as Jund decks in Modern moving forward?
No.
Okay.
I think Jund's still number one by a lot.
Okay. Glenn, as noted, you are sort of fading in and out of visibility.
Yeah.
Do you have any pod-related thoughts?
My webcam appears to be suffering slightly. I had to redo my computer setup a little bit. I'm working on adding a second monitor and replacing my desk, so I guess things aren't plugged in where they're supposed to be anymore. It's a bummer. As for Pod, I actually, with Cedric, I'm being surprised that Malira Pod has not played more. I know as soon as Blue-White Red rose to prominence, I was talking with a mutual friend of Cedric and I's, Ben Isger, who plays Pod a lot, and he felt that the Malira Pod deck would be way better against Blue-White Red than Kiki Pod. Although, having played the Blue-White Red side, Restoration Angel is really annoying, so obviously it kind of depends on how many of those each deck can run. But I think that we should be seeing a little more Malira Pod, and it is a deck that's got a close matchup against Jund. It's way too hard for me to play, so I can't play it, even though I think it is a perfectly good deck to play in Modern. That's just how the cookie crumbles there. The other deck I was really interested in from this top 8 was one of the Jund lists with a bunch of Huntmaster of the Fells. That sounds fun. That's just the full amount, all of them. Huntmasters, Bloodbraids, turn 4 is always awesome. I love that.
So you're a whip your lumberjack back and forth kind of guy?
Yeah.
All right. Well, we have some more Modern things to touch on, but Steven, how do you feel about the rise of the pods?
It actually reminds me a lot of Elf combos showing up in Legacy as a response to the format getting grindy. I think that Pod is analogous to the Legacy Elf decks in a lot of ways. It has a lot of resilience in its creature base, and then it has a very powerful combo finish, which can happen, but doesn't necessarily have to happen to win these grindy matchups. So I think that makes it a pretty exciting choice, and that's why you see it with a decent Jund matchup. And honestly, it's not too surprising to see as a response to where the format's going. I think I'd pick playing it over Jund right now. I think that the deck has a lot of play to it. There are a lot of intricate things you can do in deck design to give you edges and matchups that other people aren't expecting. And yeah, I feel like I can draw my 4 off is the other thing you have to be able to do with this deck, probably.
You feel that this Birthing Pod deck struggles when it doesn't draw Birthing Pod? Is that...
You know, I think it's... We can say struggles, I guess. I think it's still a deck when it doesn't draw Birthing Pod. And, like, I've looked at Birthing Pod lists in the past where I haven't been able to say that.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
Yeah.
Alright, the next thing we're talking about from this Grand Prix is Clutch of the Undercity. I don't know if you guys had the time to observe Clutch of the Undercity, but it showed up in one of the Scapeshift lists. The Scapeshift list of Luis Del Tour in the top 8. But he was splashing black for Clutch of the Undercity in the main deck to obviously tutor up Scapeshift and do other stuff, and he had Slaughter Games in the board and some other stuff off a Blood Crypt and a Watery Grave. So what do you guys think of Clutch of the Undercity? Said
garbage. Garbage. Do we really need a splash for a way to find Scapeshift, and then we're not playing Peer Through Depths? Is that really what's happening here? Do we need, like, Peer Through Depths is just like the perfect card to be able to find like all the stuff. Like if you need a Cryptic Command, which I guess like Clutch can tutor for, but like, do we have to stretch our mana to play like this slow demonic tutor type effect? I don't understand why we didn't do that when like Peer Through Depths did like a really, really nice job of like kind of tying the room together and finding everything that you always needed, since your deck is just all spells. Now you're like, and like you're going out of your way to like splash this card. I don't even know if like actually casting this card does anything ever. I guess it's probably better than I think it is, because like you can bounce their, yeah, like you can bounce their thing, 3 them, and then 18 them with Scapeshift, so you don't have to go through the work of like getting them to 21 them with Scapeshift. So I guess that's a thing, I suppose. But like he's going out of his way to splash like 3 of these, and then Slaughter Games. Like that's his black splash. That's it. I don't get it. I feel like Peer Through Depths just does so much more in this deck that I don't think you need to splash that particular card. So I'm pretty far against it, and I know that Mr. Poor had some interesting things to say in his top 8 profile about his deck. So.
Does he? I might have missed those. Are they truly fascinating? Do I need to go look?
He said don't play his deck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, no worries there. I was not tempted.
Yeah, he said do not play it.
Alright, Glenn, what do you think? Clutch
I
of the
actually was briefly tempted. I think that Clutch is not that insane in that card, but the way decks are going to figure it would probably be better. Peer Through Depths, so that's a kind of weird thing to be looking at, I guess. But when you go to the sideboard, you actually see the Clutch getting a lot more utility. That one Slaughter Games, for instance, alongside Obstinate Bailiff, Mindbreak Trap. Like, these are reasonable things to be transmuting for in the right matchup. So if you're just trying to like survive to Scapeshift, which in sideboard games, I feel like that's more what you're going for. I mean, obviously, like you're generally just going for that, but in sideboard games, you have to actually deal with like direct hate cards you need to handle or get rid of. I think that makes the Clutch a little better, especially when its bounce mode is going to be able to answer significant forms of hate. You know, stuff like Blood Moon or just Leyline of Sanctity, random onboard stuff that it can just take care of. So I think that it's better than it looks, but I agree it doesn't look good.
Yeah. Again, we got sort of the beginning and the ending of that. So we
I
might have to...
like how your audio comes and goes very well. Sometimes it's horrific and sometimes it's just perfect. I don't understand. It's like the problems I used to have.
Can you sum it up in 10 seconds or less?
I think the Clutch gives you some sweet sideboard options and also is a reasonable Echoing Truth variant for hate cards.
Alright. Thank you. Steven? Thoughts on Clutch?
Yeah, I think much the same thing, but sound like a human.
Well, have you come back from the future? What is your special deal?
It reminds me a little bit of Burning Wish or Cunning Wish, which has been a staple in these sort of 4-of sorceries decks, just as an extra card which gets you utility and also gets you win condition. And Clutch like honestly maybe even better than those cards because it's also like able to bounce a permanent, which bouncing a permanent in Modern is quite good. Quite good. So I like the card, decent amount. If you think about like what bouncing a permanent does in Modern in Escape Shift deck, there are all sorts of like it's more than just hate cards. Like what about bouncing their super large creature to buy you another turn to like make another land drop and burn them out or whatever. I like the card a decent amount. I think that cards like that, which give you extra utility in your deck without weakening your combo, and in this case actually strengthening your combo, are pretty exciting.
Yeah, I guess it just begs the question, right? Like, is this better than the 4th Cryptic command? Would you rather have 3 Clutch, 3 Cryptic? Or would you rather have like 4 Cryptic and 2 Clutch? And is this better than Peer Through Depths? Like, that's the kind of question I have, because this Game Shift is typically a 4 Cryptic command deck, and then you kind of move forward as that is your kind of catch-all thing that does stuff. I guess it doesn't dome you for 3 like Clutch does, though.
Doesn't dome you for 3.
I mean, doming you for 3 is a thing with this
right.
deck.
I think that Clutch is honestly buying you a turn in a lot of the same places the Cryptic command is buying you a turn, and finding you what you need in a lot of places the Cryptic command can't find you what you need. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's getting you a little more equity than Cryptic command actually is.
Alright, I could buy it.
Could you actually buy it?
I have to embrace it. Like I don't know. I keep looking at this deck list, and maybe I'm like harping on maybe like Peer Through Depths and Clutch aren't like the comparison I should be making because there is 3 copies of Telling Time here, so maybe that's where the Peer should be. It's just really weird for me to look at Escape Shift deck, and every time my opponent casts Peer Through Depths, I feel like I'm just dead, like every single time. Whereas Clutch is a different card than Peer Through Depths, so I'm probably comparing the wrong cards, but. I think if I like his deck or whatever, I would probably start with 4 Cryptic and 2 Clutch Inner City and go from there, and then probably be wrong since he top-aided and I didn't.
Well, he's got the chips, so it's not possible to argue with him.
Definitely has the chips, and I probably wrong. I bet it was awesome for him all day. So.
All right, as Glenn flickers in and out of existence.
He's gone.
Alright. Oh man.
Dying?
I don't know. That sounded serious.
Don't die. Or just change the shirt, man. I'm telling you, all the problems stem from the shirt, guys. We flew this morning to Dallas, and I couldn't even look at it. The shirt was so ugly. I just gave him the business. It's ugly green.
Yeah, that's not an upgrade. We've not done well, Glenn.
Yeah, sure. I bet if you change shirts, this wouldn't happen.
Oof. All right. Well, let me go on to the next question, and then I will start troubleshooting our overlay. But let's move quickly along. In the Star City Dallas Standard, which is the next event on our radar, the event was won by Sean Thrasher with Naya Humans, a deck which just will not go away no matter how much we say mean things about it. Ooh.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to read you the call, if that.
Okay.
Because that's what happened last time. So I'm just going to pop out and come back in. Sorry about this, guys.
Alright. In a top 8 of 2-band hexproof, 1 Naya Humans, 1 green-black, 1 black-red, 1 4-color Drownyard Door Control, 1 Grixis, and 1 mono-red. So you see a healthy and thriving standard metagame?
Healthy?
Absolutely. Well, diversity
Healthy.
equals health, right? That's the formula we use.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes you want to kill the bacteria, and sometimes you want to go probiotic.
I have no idea what's happening.
We can hear them.
I think we may be on the need soap sort of side of the bacteria spectrum right now.
God, are you doing the notebook thing again? I've completely lost where you're going.
Julia Roberts, man. Oscars.
Steven liked the tangent.
Oscars.
Okay, there.
Alright, sorry, I'm getting the link for the decks from this event, but it's 3,000 years long. Oh, actually, I have this tab open. Wait for it. There we go. These are the decks in question. The ugliest
Jeez,
link.
That's a long.
Look, man.
Quite a link.
Yes. It's quite a link. So, for this, much like the other tournaments we've talked about, let's look forward to post-Gate Crash Standard. What do you guys think will be the most popular Week 1 deck in Gate Crash Standard? Cedric, most popular.
Alright. There's some claims sounding like a robot right now. I hope that's not true. However, I think that the most popular standard deck at the beginning of the week will be mono red. With that question. And it'll be some soul cracks, and there'll be some beatdowns. And Jake Corey in the chat he agrees with me. I think it's gonna be mono red. I don't think it's gonna be close. That's cheap, that gets some nice upgrades. Maybe they'll splash white for, like Boros Charm or something, but yeah. I think it's mono red. I don't think it's close.
Alright. Glenn appears to have given you the audio aids.
Got him! I was wondering if everyone else heard it. I didn't want to say it because it's really awkward if it's not true.
At that tournament. Is there something in the water?
I hate you.
So mono red, you think mono red will be the most popular deck?
Yes. Hey, no! Stop flaunting the shirt! And yes. Yes.
Alright. Glenn, what will be the most popular deck? And revel in your audio quality.
I actually don't think it'll be mono red. I got a Jund feeling coming on for me. I think that people are gonna like the Stomping Grounds and some of these green red cards, and maybe go Junding. I wouldn't mind Junding. Rakdos Return seems like a good card. Yeah.
Alright. Steven, what will be the most popular deck?
I think you have to go with an aggressive deck on week 1. I could see mid-rangey to higher-end stuff being popular week 2 or 3, but I think for week 1 it's gotta be a mono red or Boros sort of aggressive deck.
Yeah, I was gonna guess Boros. I mean, I'm obviously an idiot, but like if we can put Skullcrack and Boros Charm in our deck, then they're almost already dead, right?
Boros Charm has a lot of words on it, and some of them are target player takes 4 damage. So
those are some of the words.
Yeah. I believe they are dead. We only have to draw, like 6 of those cards out of the 8 in our deck.
How soon can I start axing them questions? That's what I want to know.
Right now. Yes, right now.
Right this very instant?
Yes.
Alright. So now we're gonna get to the full looking stupid part. I'm gonna ask you what you think will be the best deck on week 1 for Gate Crash Standard. Alright. Let's start with Cedric again.
Best deck for week 1. Okay. Some sort of reanimator deck. Because everyone will cut their cards. Almost assuredly. Beat the aggro decks.
Okay. So like Thingamabob, Flashback, like Unburial Rites deck?
Yeah, something, Human Reanimator, I don't care, some sort of reanimator deck, because I think that what happened in San Diego with Joe's set is what's going to happen again. They're just going to cut their hate cards and get punished.
Alright, tough but fair. Glenn, best deck on week 1.
I agree with Cedric, but I think specifically blue, white, red, splash black, chronic flooding, human reanimator. That's where I would want to be. That deck's like really fast. If no one has a hate card, it's like the best version because it just kills you dead, regardless of what you were doing. Like if you have to play against hate cards, it's not a great deck. Rest in Peace is beatable but not great. A lot of other stuff is beatable but not great. But if they just don't have any of those things, then your Angel of Glory is rising them for the kill as early as, like turn 4. So, I like that. I think that that's the Reanimator variant I would be playing. And I agree with Cedric's logic that people will be focused on playing with new cards and they won't have good sideboards. So
you want to be chronically flooding?
oh yeah, any excuse.
All right, that's novel. Steven, what do you think will be the best deck?
I think you guys are underestimating the strength of the new aggressive cards in this set. I think that these fiddly Reanimator decks are going to go. And, like, I'm not sure that killing on turn 4 is actually that impressive in this format right now. It's, like, fine. I think this is a turn 4 format, honestly, with the aggressive decks that we have now.
Turn 4?
Yeah, I do. I think that the Boros cards are very, very, very good.
That's bold, man.
I agree with you that I think aggressive decks are going to be very good, and I think they'll definitely start to dominate. But for week 1, I think people will be playing the wrong cards in them a lot. Like, they won't know whether their Boros Charm deck should be base white or base red. They just won't know the right cards to play. So I think that for week 1, when people are trying to do stuff like whatever Legion Loyalist in their deck and it's just not good, those are the weeks where I don't mind playing against those guys.
That's reasonable, and I think it's going to take a while to settle into those decks, and honestly, at some point, you may not want to be building them so fast, because, like, it's obviously going to depend on who you're battling. But I think that the best deck for week 1 is going to have to be, like, 3 and 4 casting cost cards that are beating aggro for you, or aggro. I haven't looked at the format enough to work out if there is a mid-range deck that I like in that spot yet. I'm sure there's one out there, but I haven't built it, that's for sure. I think that if someone can find that, that's the place to be, though.
All right. Those were impressively reasonable sounding predictions. I am impressed. Let's move on, zip onward to our next tournament. The Star City Dallas Legacy was won by Will Craddock with Sneak and Show. In a top 8, a standard Legacy top 8, 1 Sneak and Show, 1 Junk Midrange, 1 Jund, 1 Blue-Red Delver, 1 Tainted Stone, 1 Merfolk, 1 Esper Stoneblade, and 1 Reanimator. So, I don't have a kazoo yet, but we're gonna do the Legacy grab bag, and as an additional bonus, if you think there are any cards in Gatecrash which will affect the Eternal formats, feel free to trot them out in this segment. So, Cedric, grab a Legacy thing.
This is one of those times where you really needed a kazoo, actually. Really bad. Yeah. Okay, let's grab at it, boys and girls. Sang Young's Jund deck, he had some Punishing Fires and some Grover the Burn Willows in his deck. And this is a combo that is banned in Modern, so it must be good! It's gotta be a thing!
Correct, it's so good.
3 Punishing Fires main,
We're
1
just
on the
gonna
board.
keep getting it banned in every format until we can't play it, man. Vintage is
That's
next.
right!
Can we ban it in Vintage?
Yeah. Reusable shocks? I don't think so!
Turn 1
Get
Lotus
out.
Grove.
Get that out of here!
2 you, pick it up, taste it.
So, like, that is potentially a thing moving forward because, it's like good in the mirror because it kills Bloodbraid, Dark Confidant, and Tarmogoyf and can start picking away Lilianas and gives you something to discard to Liliana. Yeah. So there's that. What the hell is that?
That's my phone. Sorry.
He is the Terminator.
Sorry about that, guys. Time zones are tricky.
Glenn, do you have something you want to tell us?
Well, future Glenn apparently has a message.
Glenn has a Roomba. DJ Roomba. But yeah, so Punishing Fire, yeah, it could be a thing. It's like good against Merfolk and stuff, and it's not as good as it was in Modern because in Legacy there are Wastelands that actually kill the Grove. but he made the top 4. And I could see where it is good in some matchups, Bug and Jund and, these other grindy matchups. But, yeah, that's something to keep an eye out for maybe moving forward. That's a Jerry Thompson type approach with the old P-fires.
Alright. And no hidden gate crash technology for you?
God, no.
Alright.
I don't think those
That's fair.
cards will have an influence. I'm probably wrong, but no.
Alright, Glenn, pick a thing.
Well, my thing will be 13th place finisher Pietro Fabiani playing Sam Black's Zombies deck. He is taking it a little bit further than Sam did in his last list. Sam splashing green for Deathrite Shaman's ability and nothing else. Pietro has access to 4 Abrupt Decays and a Golgari Charm between main and sideboard, in addition to the Deathrite Shaman's green activation. And he's also got that alongside all the swords that Sam added for his last iteration. I feel like we might be going a little overboard on the 1-for-1 cards in this deck maybe at this point. That said, beating stuff like Tarmogoyf is exceptionally obnoxious and Engineered Plague to a lesser extent. So I think that I like the Abrupt Decay as a potential plan. I'd been considering something similar for this deck. But if that's what you're going with, I think I want to board the full amount of Dark Confidant, since that's going to be my plan, is to just play a Dark Confidant and then 1-for-1 the rest of their spells away. So, it was an interesting take on the list. Tweaked the mana base, made it a little more vulnerable, I think, to getting wastelanded, since you really need to have a Bayou much more frequently now. But beyond that, that's it.
Alright. And no hidden technology from you either?
No, Gatecrash is not a big hitter. I was really hoping for something like Deathrite Shaman or Niv Magus to, rock the boat, but no, we're smooth sailing, it seems.
That seems to be the statistically favored response. Steven, what is your thing?
I really enjoy that Merfolk is in this top 8. I remember it won a tournament a very long time ago, and people were like, "Who maybe Merfolk will be the," and it wasn't at all. And I remember saying that I could see recommending it to someone, and I have to say I could not see recommending it to someone in this metagame at all. I think that is an absolutely atrocious, absolutely miserable choice. I think that it just gets absolutely destroyed by everything every single person is playing. So obviously someone took 3rd place with Merfolk, and probably is, pretty good at drawing the 2/2 lords. As far as cards from Gatecrash, I think the Skullcrack will go in the burn deck. Let's be reasonable here. Other than that, I could see the Mythic Blaze showing up in a sideboard. That's where we're going. We have to stretch a wee ways here, but an X spell, which can be a silence, a silence is going to show up as relevant in a lot of places, and it has some utility otherwise. So I could see it getting played somehow. I'm not sure how exactly. I'll leave that part up to someone else.
Alright. Good work as always, team. So let's trundle along. Let's talk about the completed spoiler and the upcoming Gatecrash pre-releases, because there are going to be, as those of you in the competitive Magic community know, no large events this upcoming weekend except for pre-releases. There will be pre-releases everywhere. So we're going to be using the same system as we used for Return to Ravnica, I believe. There's going to be some guilds. You're going to have to pick one, and then you will brawl with them. So first of all, let's ask, where are you guys planning to go? What guild do you choose to battle with in the pre-release? Cedric.
Still John, even though I'm looking at the Simic cards right now, God, the flavor of Simic is so good in this set. It almost makes me want to play with it. Just evolve and
that's
all the
trap, Cedric. That is the
I know. The
That's how they
all
get
look
you.
So cool, and they all have dumb creature types like a crocodile frog and a lizard beast. And
what is this guy called? Hold on, let me find him again.
Which one?
You're talking about Shamble Shark?
Yes, I'm
crab?
talking about Shamble Shark.
Yeah,
Fish crab.
Shamble Shark, the fish crab.
Yeah, this guy's
Clearly
name is
the best card.
adaptive Snapjaw. Like the creature names and the creature types for this are ridiculous. And I don't know, all the artwork's really cool and the flavor is really cool. I don't know. Nimbus Swimmer, it's a Leviathan. It's like an X-Man Leviathan. I also like how its lord is just a 6-mana 1/1. I also find that to be really funny. But, man, I'm probably still going to play Gruul, but they did a nice job with Simic. I got to give it to them. I hope it plays well because the flavor's really good.
All right. Glenn, what kind of mage are you?
Yeah, I'm probably going to play with Simic of the pre-release just because it seems more fun than the other alternatives. Boros is another contender for me because I really like attacking and they have some cool commons and uncommons. I haven't cast a Sky Knight Legionnaire in a coon's age, so I could get down with that guy. He was an old favorite from my childhood, so but probably gonna go with Simic at least for a flight.
Alrighty. Steven?
I think Gruul is a very easy choice if you want to win. Now, there's a price to winning, and that is that you have to play Gruul. So,
High price.
I could honestly see myself going Orzhov. It seems a little bit like me. And that's like a pretty horrible thing to say about myself. But I don't know. I'm pretty excited about a 2/2 flyer for 3, which like just drains them over and over again. And imagine when you like cast it and you get to drain them twice when you cast it. Like, I'll just gain 2 life.
So
You can lose 2 life.
You get to pretend you're playing with Blind Hunter and your card like
Yeah.
doesn't suck.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. If this is exciting to you, your life sucks.
I'm not surprised that this would be exciting to Steven.
Yeah, I said it.
It's not as exciting as the show, but it's close. God, imagine if you opened the Lord, though. 5/5? Drains you
Yeah, that card's
2, right?
That card's ridiculous.
God, it's
I
just
can't
like the
imagine.
best thing.
I mean, that card limited.
You drain them for 1, you drain them for 1, you drain them for 2. You could attack them if you wanted, but you don't need to. Like, just wait.
And just to round it out before we move on to the next question, I think I would probably play Dimir if I was like looking to do what I would enjoy most. I really enjoyed the blue-black mill decks in Ravnica when they were actually good. I suspect in this set, from looking at the spoiler, they are terrible. But I mean, if you're going to a pre-release, like the goal is, like if you win at a pre-release, you win nothing. So let's brawl, man.
Let's mill you.
Yeah. Well, maybe mill you until you hit a land, and then I stop milling you and lose. All right. So now let's.
God, can we play that as a hate card against Belcher? Do you think? I'm pretty sure we can. All right.
What's the
3 cards,
cheapest way?
Legacy play.
The cheapest way we can provide that effect in this set, you know? There's like a gray ogre, right? That's probably not fast enough because you're dead on turn 1. You need to do it pretty fast.
Yeah.
There's an X spell, right?
Okay, so it costs 3, like blue-black 1.
Yeah.
That's not super bad, but can't you just kill them, like, can't you just cast Extract and they die? Or, I guess Extract doesn't kill them.
Yeah, cast Extract against me, please.
There's some, like, there's some 1-mana card that kills Belcher, isn't there?
Not that I know of.
Hmm.
And I'm a Belgian professional.
You are. That's why I ask you the questions, friend.
Yeah. Your
All
1-mana card that kills Belcher is called Thoughtseize.
Sure.
That one does a
Not bad.
pretty good job. Yeah.
But you can't Thoughtseize the top of their library, friend.
That's true.
All right. Well, let's go to a general thought. What are your general impressions about this set? And what would you be looking to do at the pre-release? I feel like we've talked a bit about Gruul. Can we talk about things that aren't Gruul, like why we don't like them, or what we're looking forward to doing, or something like that? I don't know, Cedric. Give me some sweet stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to playing Gruul. Looks like a pretty good deck. All the cards are way too good.
Now, that suggests to me that you have an awful life. Like,
yeah, I'm the fun police. I am. It just looks like it's way too good. No, I mean, like, so this set is pretty interesting. I like most of the mechanics. I like how I don't know how good some of the mechanics are. It's very obvious how good Blood Rush is going to be. It's pretty obvious how good. Actually, it's actually not that obvious how good Evolve is going to be. That one's going to be kind of interesting. And then I like how, in this set, we're not entirely sure, how good is Extort going to be? How good is Cypher going to be? And then there's the other mechanic with the Battalion. Can you actually make it work, or do you have to play a bunch of crappy guys to be able to trigger this effect, and the triggering the effect even actually good? There's a lot to pull back and kind of unveil here, and again, the other thing that I'm really interested in finding out is, are you pigeonholed like you were in Return to Ravnica into drafting these, 5 color combinations where you couldn't really branch out and do anything kind of exciting and cool, or do you have, or can you, draft green whites and that's like an actual thing, or draft Golgari and that's an actual thing. Also, and I've taken a few looks over the spoiler. I know that in our previous format we had Axebane Guardian and we had Gate Creeper Vine. Is there a lot of mana fixing in this format or no?
No, not much.
It doesn't really seem like there is. So, we could go, there was ways to go 5 color. There was ways to go, green, black, white, green, black, blue, or, some sort of splashing nonsense. Whereas now it seems like it's actually pretty hard to do that in this set. Maybe I'm wrong and I'm overlooking something, but it doesn't seem like there's a lot of fixing.
There's frenzy
There
killing.
is some, like, there's the Prism thing, the gates, and the Shocklands, but there's just less than there was in RTR, right?
Okay.
Like, and I guess Key Runes also count, but...
Yeah. Yeah, there's like that 1 mana blue rare that makes your lands and other stuff. I mean, it's a 1 mana 1/1.
There's a Fertile Ground is like the only thing, right?
I know there's Prophetic Prism. And
this card Verdant Haven is 3 mana Fertile Ground, and you gain 2 life.
Okay.
There's nothing on the power level of Axebane Guardian to make like a big multicolor deck seem insane, at least as far as I'm concerned. Like Axebane Guardian in the right deck was like an actual powerhouse, like really frustrating to play against, and there isn't anything like that in this set. Like I'm not looking forward to cobbling together a deck with like 6 fixers to make it work or whatever.
Yeah. That was one of the things I was looking for that you could do in the past format, and doesn't seem like you can really do in this one. So, yeah. I'm pretty excited to play with this format. I am all Return the Ravnica out. I stopped playing that a little while ago, as it just got really, really boring for me, just always drafting Rakdos every time. Look, you roll your eyes all you want to, buddy, but it was the best deck. It's not my fault, and the other decks are kind of boring to draft, and I just need a little shake-up. I need some new mechanics. And we got them, so I'm happy.
Alrighty. Glenn, do you have sweet thoughts about things which are hopefully not Gruul?
Yeah, outside of Gruul, I feel like most of the mechanics sort of lend themselves nicely to goof-off decks. Like, you want to do something silly? Here you go. Like, if I want to just build, like, a bunch of Extort and stuff like that, I can do that. If I want to evolve my creature a bunch of times, I can do that too. Like, it doesn't necessarily have to be good, but, like, I can do it. So... I kind of like that. I don't mind playing in those formats recreationally. It's fine. Like, I don't mind money drafting like weird or stupid formats because it's fun to like actually challenge yourself to try and be competitive inside of a weird frame. That's one of the reasons I like cube drafts in the first place. So when in this set, it kind of feels like that, where you're being asked to like pursue some odd linears, and you just have to make them work.
Alright, I don't know. Do you think, like, the Evolve dudes are bad? Because a lot of them seemed pretty good to me.
I don't think they're bad, but, like, I think that you can draft, like, a blue-green deck that, plays a few of them that are good and, like, is, a good deck. Or you can just draft this deck that just tries to, like, do a bunch of sweet Evolve stuff. And it's probably not going to be better than, like, a competitively drafted blue-green deck, but you'll be having a little more fun and it'll be a little weirder. So.
Alright. Steven.
Sometimes the cat has to lie facing the other way, and she has to attack the headphone cord as she does it.
Oh, okay.
To me, like, I have been joking for a very long time that Dimir is, like, not actually a guild. Because that's a joke with Dimir. It doesn't exist, right? Nobody knows about it.
That's very Dimir of you.
And it turns out that the designers of this set don't know about it either. So,
Hi-oh.
I think... I think that like the most exciting factor to me in Gate Crash Draft is the fact that I just don't believe that you can draft a Dimir deck. And I think it's sort of exciting to see where the 2 or 3 good Dimir cards end up in a draft pod. Like, which deck splashes the really good blue-black cards, which could not go in a blue-black deck because that deck doesn't exist. Who knows? Maybe I will be completely wrong. Maybe Cypher will be absolutely amazing, and putting it on a 1/1 for 3 is going to make that 1/1 for 3 real good. But I sort of, I just sort of don't think that will happen. So I wonder if like Simic splashing black will be a common thing, where Simic wants to delay the game because of all this evolved mechanics stuff, which is making its cards just get progressively better, and a few black cards can aid you in doing that, and nobody else wants the black cards, so why not? Or maybe Orzhov will often splash blue because Orzhov also benefits from the slow, grindy sort of stuff, and maybe you can find that in a couple of Dimir cards. That's going to be interesting to me to see how that works out, I think. Other than that, the set seems pretty straightforward. I think there's like a pretty obvious Borrow aggressive deck, a pretty obvious Gruul aggressive deck, and some other stuff. And that stuff is what I'm excited about.
All right. And you guys, now we will close in. Are there any other singular cards which you guys are excited or interested in, or you wish to talk about how creepy their art is?
Is that a shot directed at me?
I would never direct anything
Huh?
at you, Cedric.
Because I'll link the card in the chat again if I have to. And here at Gateway Shade.
You might scar some of our viewers, Cedric.
Okay?
They won't be able to sleep.
Okay, because it is a scary card. So I don't appreciate you taking shots at me like that. It's almost as scary as Glenn's shirt. Yeah! Got you again.
Got him.
Got him again.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
This is so weird. I'm so bad at analyzing stats. I feel like you have to just play with the cards. Can I say I'm excited about Boros Charm? Am I allowed to do that?
Yeah, sure.
Because I'm like super excited about it. Osip and I were talking about. Osip came up with this idea of playing Zoo in Modern and going back to like a landfall type Zoo deck with Step Links and Plated Geopede, and you being able to like kill. You're able to deal your opponent like 18 damage on turn 3 with Gaia's Might plus Boros Charm, and like that could be a thing. And so like that has me more excited about Boros Charm than like anything. The fact that you can just go like play the Geopede, play a fetch land, make it a 5/5, grow it with Gaia's Might and then Boros Charm it. I mean, it's very realistic to deal 18 on turn 3 with a lot of different cards in that deck, and that is exciting to me. Or Might of Alara, sorry. But yeah, I think it's gonna be good. I think like we really need the shake up in Standard. I think it's going to make Standard pretty interesting now, too, because we already see people just doing psychotic things, and we're just going to get more psychotic now about the things that you can do. And I think that part's pretty cool, because we have all the lands now. So anything is possible, which I kind of like.
All right. I forgive you on the Gaia's Might, because it did used to be in the name of the deck, right? Like, it used to be called Gaia's Might Get There.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, that was actually the name of the deck, yeah.
Yeah, now it's like Might of Alara. I assume you guys just said that.
Yeah, Might of Alara Get There. Rolls off the tongue.
Alright, Glenn, do you have any specific cards?
Not specific. One that a lot of people haven't talked too much about that might be reasonable, the Orzhov Charm. I think 2 of its modes are pretty reasonable considering Deathrite Shaman is a card. Being that like its 2nd mode kills a Deathrite Shaman and its 3rd mode returns one to play. So if you're like Deathrite Shaman warring, that's not that bad. And obviously destroy target creature, like your opponent probably has one. So there are worse ways to use your charm slot. So I kind of am interested in that. Maybe like the white-black Dead Gael deck that splashes green could see that card going into it to complement its many sweet cards in Deathrite Shaman. It could be a reasonable card.
All Alrighty, Steven, do you have any specific businesses?
Who's the Boros dude?
Which
What's
one?
his name?
Wojak Halberdiers?
The 3/3. No, the 3/3.
Oh,
Frontline medic.
which 3/3? The 3-mana one or the 4-mana one? What does it
The
do?
one who deals damage to the other guy when it is dealt damage.
Oh, the Spite Mare?
Spitmare. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
God,
that
what was
costs.
that card called?
It costs 3,
Where'd it
but I
go?
don't remember what it's called.
Boros Reckoner.
Boros
It is a
Reckoner.
Minotaur Wizard.
Aren't we
Is
all?
it? And why is it there in the visual spoiler? Okay, I finally found it.
Wait, where is it?
That stuff is weird. Yeah, exactly, right? So, I don't know. Everybody, I think, everybody is excited about Boros Reckoner. I just have to get you in on the ground floor if you're watching the show and didn't know already. So this is a 3 red-white hybrid casting cost card. Red, white, red, white, red, white. There's no good way to really communicate that yet, it turns out. It's a 3/3 creature, and whenever it's dealt damage, it deals that much damage to target creature or player, which is awesome. It's like a stuffy doll, which goes in an aggressive deck. You just like, you attack them, you attack them, you attack them. You have 7 creatures on the board, right? 7 creatures on the board, and you could attack them for 23 to kill them. But instead, you can cast Blasphemous Act for 2, and they take 13 damage. And that's sort of the beauty of the card. I think that it's a pretty threatening card in a lot of sort of cool ways, which is probably not going to live up to any sort of hype, but I'm like really excited to see that ability printed on an aggressively costed creature. So
Alright.
it costs Boros.
Yeah, it's easier to say. Sure. It costs Golgari.
And while we're in the neighborhood,
Beetlejuice.
how do you guys
Yeah.
feel about Baromorphos? Are you Baromorphos fans?
Who the hell is that?
Oh, it's
That's
Manamorphos, except instead of drawing a card, you get a bear.
What color is it?
It's green-red.
Worse.
It's green-red for a 2/2, and it adds
Oh,
green-red
the
when it comes to default.
Bernie Streamus. Okay. Paramorphous. Okay. I see. See, it took me a minute. I see what you did now, though. I was looking for a card called Baramorphos.
Oh,
Which-
okay. Well, that was your first mistake.
That's how stupid I am yet again. So there's that. I'm pretty sure that card's not good, right?
It doesn't seem good, no.
I don't know
Does
where you
not
even want
seem
this card. Even the creature type doesn't. I mean, it's a human, so that's like a good thing, I guess. But what's the best limited card in this set? Is it just the Fury?
Well, the funny thing about that is that there's actually like 2 complete blowout X spells in this set, right? Like there's Aurelia's Fury and there's Clan Defiance, and both of them will make you so dead that you can't even remember being alive. So
I'm also looking at Biomass Mutation, which is just like the instant speed
yeah,
overrun.
that's a thing, all right. Like you will
I can't-
definitely go from 20 to like -34 when they attack you with this card.
Glenn, when do you think the Ben S like Facebook bitching starts for this set with the rares? That's what
I don't know. Like, probably a little bit before GP, like the night before the GP, maybe. I don't know. It's kind of tough to say.
So every guild except Dimir has an X spell which makes you miserable. Because Orzhov
Yeah.
also has the return each creature card with converted mana cost X from your graveyard to the battlefield. And Dimir has like put some of your cards in the graveyard. You may flash them back or reanimate them. with
That
life.
card is so depressing. It's just worse than Psychic Drain, and that was uncommon. Like
It's on that mind grind. Mind grind, baby.
Mine.
just wishes it could be Psychic Drain, but it can't. Because
Yeah.
Psychic Drain was unreal.
By the way, X can't be 0. So that you know.
How do you guys feel about Moroi that bobs both players? That card's kind of cool. Duskmantle Seer is the actual Magic the Gathering card that we are
That is a
talking
cool
about.
card.
It's an E card. I don't know.
Do you think
Is
it actually goes anywhere? Like, can you put this card in a deck and play Magic the Gathering with it?
I don't think it goes anywhere right now. Like, we don't have a deck that it's good in already. But I think that it is a good enough card to find a home.
That was my impression as well.
I think we'll see playing standard at some point.
Yeah.
Like, making someone flip a Thragtusk over and lose 5 life sort of screws that person. As long as you can, like, do any other thing. Which, unfortunately, this card is blue-black, so you probably can. But, you know.
Do we like Soul Ransom, this control magic?
Define like.
It is a control magic. I will like first pick it and then play some color which can splash it.
Like, I don't know. If
I
this
think
is
it might be good. I kind of like.
Go ahead.
I kind of like the idea of like Rakdos' return with that card.
What is with you and Rakdos return? This has got to stop.
Hey man, Rakdos is sweet, and hey, now you can play Cyclonic Rift Rakdos' return. We all thought that might have been a thing, and now maybe it could be.
Who is we?
People?
The many Glens. All of the Glens.
Yeah, all the people
That's
that
a
go
totally
to
reasonable thing. Totally reasonable thing.
Look, there are a lot of people at GlenCon.
There are a lot of. You're right about that. This I'm gonna get you. Do you need a Rakdos return, like a foil one or something?
No, I'm good, man. I got my playset on Moto. That's all I need.
Firm but fair. You are ready. Best charm? Do we think it's for limited? For limited, I think obviously Boros is the best one for constructed.
Yeah.
I think Simic is the best one for limited. Like all 3 modes are very good.
I agree. I think like a number of them are quite good, but I think Simic is like the strongest and most flexible one for limited.
By number, do you mean 4?
Best guild mage?
I don't like any of the guild mates very much. Honestly.
I think the black-white one has sweet art and like is a pretty unexciting card.
I mean, the Boros Guild Mage has to be like the best one, right? It's basically Selesnya Guild Mage. That card was sweet.
Let me see what this guy does.
There's
close.
Boros Guild Mage, and then there's like almost Boros Guild Mage right below it, who's like also pretty good.
Yeah, True Fire Paladin.
Yeah.
Boros Guild Mage number 2 might be better than some of the other Guild Mages.
Yeah, that card's the truth. That card has Vigilance too? Jesus.
Yeah, that guy's like a souped-up Knight of Skyward Eye in my head. That's how I see him. It's like, this is this creature I just get to like fearlessly battle with every single time.
Yeah, just attack you. I dare you to do anything. Put a 1/1. Okay, yeah, I guess this is like, yeah, this actually is a lot like Celestial Guild Mage. Jeez.
I think it's gonna be like not quite as good, cause
yeah.
like original Ravnica was kind of glacially slow sometimes, so you just died to that thing.
The mana difference is also not insignificant. Like, you definitely, like, you'll feel that a little bit. Like, the new, like, Rick Smotty Guild Mage, like, having to hit black and red for, like, each activated ability, even though that Guild Mage was insane, like, you'd lose games where you had, like, 6 mountains and 1 swamp, and you're like, this is ridiculous. So, I can see that kind of happening as well with the Boros Guild Mage. You get kind of just bottlenecked on your ability to cast relevant spells.
I could see this blue-green guild mage taking over a game too with the remove a +1/+1 draw card. Yeah, if the format's slow, I think our last format was like pretty fast. I think unless like you were against the Golgari deck because they wanted to slow the game down. So I don't know how fast things are going to be here.
I feel like if blue-green gets to the point where it's activating abilities to draw cards by making its creatures weaker, like you have already won without the guild mage. That's like what I feel looking at that time. I think the Gruul Guild Mage plays very well with Gruul, and it plays in a way where you can get use out of its ability in situations where you hadn't already won. So I think that that's a lot more exciting, and probably the second most exciting after the Boros Guild Mage. Gruul Guild Mage gives creatures trample. It's basically the allure.
Yeah, and makes a 4/4. Yeah, that card's good too. Yeah, I guess Guild Mages
making
are good.
lands attack you is pretty good too.
I like a lot of these cards.
What do you guys think about the Ball Lightning variant, the Mighty Spark Trooper?
I really like that card. I think gaining 6 life is a pretty big deal.
when I saw this card, I was like blown away. I was like at my local card shop and checking out Facebook, and then I see it and I'm like, man, this is a really good Magic card. And I show it to my friends there, and they're like, this card's like pretty bad to like unplayable. And I'm just like, how's that possible? It's like a Ball Lightning, and Ball Lightning has traditionally been good, and then it having Lifelink is very important against like the other aggro decks, and just like buying you enough time to burn your opponents out. Plus, they have to like block this thing probably. I don't think they can just take 6 on the chin, and then there's Magic Christmas Land when you have a Silverblade Paladin. I think
That's quite enjoyable.
Yeah, right. Like I think this card has to be pretty good. I would be really surprised if it's not.
I think that's one of the cards that is going to be showing up in Standard. I do not think that the Silverblade Paladin interaction is Magical Christmas Land. I think that is like totally reasonable normal land. Like, this is the biggest thing to do with Silverblade Paladin right now, right? Is attack them for 12 on turn 4.
Yeah, I think so right now.
Well, you can put... I mean, you may have heard of this Bant deck that puts hats on monsters, but that's a thing you can do with Silverblade Paladin as well.
Does that allow you to attack for 12 on turn 4? I'm not
probably
even sure
in some way.
Do you gain 12 life?
No, you probably don't do that thing.
Gain 12 life. Like, gaining 12 life is pretty huge in any creature race ever.
Yeah, I just
Did you know that gaining 12 life is good? I have played a Toxon Worm.
I've discarded that worm.
But I can gain 12 life.
Look, far be it for me to talk you guys out of playing your 4-mana Ball Lightnings, but you can absolutely do that thing.
Thank you very much. And the card that like no one is talking about, that's probably very, very good. And I've heard from some very relevant people that was close to being changed, is Damirade, a card that like just no one's talking about or whatever. Like it's just like a card that was spoiled really early, and it's just like it might be good. It could be good. I've just heard from a lot of people the card's just completely bonkers, and they thought about changing how they printed it before it was released. So
this is the Planeswalker that draws you monsters?
Yeah, this is the 3 Planeswalker.
Completely bonkers and limited?
I mean, very good limited and constructed.
I mean, I can see it being good and constructed. Like, it kills a lot of relevant things relatively easily, and some of the tougher things with only minor hijinks. Like Restoration Angel is just a hard creature to kill for a lot of decks, and this is a card that can do it for those decks.
Yeah. I was told the card's really, really good, and I think this is the first time we've seen like a green Planeswalker printed like this aggressively that you can play on turn 2, outside of like Jace with Noble Hierarch or whatever. So I'm pretty interested in this one. A lot of people just like it hasn't been talked about very much at all. There's a lot of other cool cards out there. So.
All right. Are there any cards in this set that you really don't like?
I try not to get personally involved with my Magic cards.
You're a liar.
I keep it strictly professional.
You hate Sunpetal Grove. You said it.
He killed my brother.
I hate how bad Gruul Charm is.
Yeah, that actually is. It is. Gruul Charm is to the point of being comically bad. I'll give you that. Like, you look at that card and you're like, man, they really tried. Like, they got to that 3rd ability and they're like, we're not done with this hatchet job. Let's get him.
I really just don't like how bad that card is. That part's really
Everyone plays a 3/4 flyer, right? All right, 3 damage it is.
I don't like that card. I just saw on the spoiler today, Mortis Strider, this 3-mana 1/1 skeleton, when it dies, return to its owner's hand. That one is a little bit on the embarrassing side to me. Those are like the only 2 that really did stand out. Come on with that card. Like, I get it. You're limited, it blocks forever, blah, blah, blah. Come on.
You could probably just build literally a strictly worse version of Alurin that plays that card. Like, like all the pieces are worse, but it does the same thing.
That card is just embarrassing.
That was honestly my first thought, too.
Yeah.
What, this card in Alurin?
Yeah,
Why? What's that? Why does that matter?
I'm
What am I
just
missing?
sick person. It's not better. It's worse.
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I thought maybe I was missing something. I mean, no.
It sure doesn't do anything in any other deck though. So
Hey, maybe slip this into Modern Birthing Pod, get a little value in your Birthing Pod deck, because that's what that deck needs.
Yeah.
Value.
It doesn't have a lot of 3-drops that accrue instant value.
That's
So.
right. Willingly only playing 2 kitchen things instead of 4.
Yeah.
Also, I've had about enough of Biovisionary. I'll put that out there right now. I'm
You've
just
had
tired
enough?
I'm just tired of people just by replication it, and then we win. And you know, I'm gonna what's that stupid Catholic counterpart it, and I'm gonna do it again. And then we have 3 of the 4. And if my opponent has an aneurysm, I still probably lose. I can't get the 4th one.
Why?
Had
Why,
enough.
Cedric? Why must you hate on their like? It's so much harder than just winning the game in any reasonable way. Like why? Why can't you just let them have their win?
I've just had enough of the Biovisionary decks and people asking me for help in their Biovisionary decks. Enough!
If you opened 3 Biovisionary and sealed, would you play them just to get your opponent scared? I might.
Certainly,
If it was a
he was
pre-release,
like
yes.
Laboratory Maniac. I definitely played him just as a 2/2. Just like sometimes blue doesn't have very good creatures, man.
Yeah, sure.
But in this
That's
set,
the other card. Infinite Reflection with this card. Yeah, there's the old combo. The old 6 mana enchant creature. Yeah.
why not
Dang,
just
Cameron.
this and like 3 Phantasmal images? It's like there it is, 6 mana.
You are a genius.
Well, in this, I was gonna say in this set, blue has Shamble Shark, so I think all of its creature issues have in fact been solved.
That's true. Blue has some very good creature types, and they're attached to suspect bodies, which grow stronger with time.
Yeah.
Although you have to cast blue creature spells, which are bigger than your like 0/1 with Evolve, and that could be difficult.
Could be a challenge. Alright, favorite artwork in the set. I'm gonna go with the ever popular Smog Elemental.
God, the Smog Elemental is amazing.
See the Smog Elemental.
He's so good.
Ooh, that's good. That is good.
This looks like a very, very sad,
Hello.
very, very sad stingray.
That is good.
Your flyers are small.
I like oh god, I like almost every single like land, honestly. I don't really care much for Thespian stage, but the rest of these cards, especially Watery Grave, looks badass. Simic Gilgate looks really nice. Orzhov Gilgate looks nice. I actually like how breeding pool looks a lot. I'm a big like land artwork guy personally, and I like how like almost all. I think I like every gate and every dual land. I think they all look insane. Screw the old art.
Alright. Glenn, you have any art thoughts? People are bringing up Totally Lost as a chat favorite if you need help.
Oh. I mean, Shamble Shark obviously wins. Like,
That's fair.
0%er for everyone else. All fighting for second.
You don't like
yeah, I don't know. Clan Defiance isn't bad either. Some guy just getting faced by a fireball. I can get behind that. Just get him.
Yeah.
There's
Actually,
no love for Fibblethip? Or however
I
you...
didn't know that. I didn't know that's what was happening in that picture. Jesus Christ.
Clan Defiance? Yeah, no, he's just literally jamming a fireball right in some guy's face.
That's insane. What was the card, Adam? Fibblethep?
Oh, Totally Lost is the card in question.
Oh, okay. I think that card's sweet.
I think the lands in this set are okay. I think the Watery Grave and the Sacred Foundry are really sweet. And I guess the Simic Guildgate I like a lot too. And then the others I kind of am not that excited about.
You'll come around.
The breeding pool looks really cartoony.
I can bring you a comment direct from someone else. There is liberal evidence of power creep in this set because there is now a zombie bear that is also a rat. When will it end? I ask you.
Walking
Oh,
Corpse
that's-
was Walking Corpse was too good.
So you think
Crawler was
adding
the
a rat
7/6
is
now.
like a downgrade in power level? Like making it a zombie rat?
The old
Maybe he gets
gutter,
ostracized by his fellow zombies for it.
the old gutter skulk. I mean, it would be. I think we all understand how good the artwork is on Gateway Shade, so I didn't really feel the need to bring that up.
That's fair.
Smog Elemental might win though.
Smog Elemental's up there.
That's really good.
I really like the Smite art.
Smite, that sounds like a 1-mana white combat trick.
Yeah, that is what it is.
Oh,
And
it's a reprint though, so it's not. Okay.
It is a reprint.
I thought it was actually like just some random 1-mana
That's
white
like-
combat trick.
The reprint of Giant Growth, the most recent Giant Growth, I really like the art for that too. I think they're doing a good job with these reprints of, like, I guess they don't have to design the card or anything, so some extra time to like work out.
They spend
how to
extra time designing
make
the art.
artwork interesting.
They're not doing anything else.
Can I say that I don't like Gideon's art, mostly because it's just like super similar to what he was before. It's like, we get it.
Yeah.
He's this like sweet big soldier dude that can strike an intimidating pose. But like, can he be more? Can't he be more than that?
What would you suggest?
I don't know. Like, look at Jace. Jace has done all kinds of different stuff, like a lot of different looks on Jace, you know? This is very, very close. Like, if you rotated the camera, you might just have the same picture, you know? Like, pan left, pan left. All right, there we go.
Gideon, I'm gonna look at old Gideon really quick.
It's just a little dull, you know? He's just a soldier dude standing there.
One thing I will say for Jace especially, I'm a sucker for like hoods and glowing runes, which they just
Yeah.
did on Jace. They were just milking that for all it was worth. He was like, look at these things I can do. I can make origami. And that's what his art was. But
Of the Planeswalker iterations, I think like Garruk and Chandra are probably my favorites, to be honest. Like, they actually have relatively dynamic artwork and a lot of different looks.
Chandra is several different kinds of on fire. That's certainly true.
Yeah.
Alright. I feel like we've gone over this set pretty well. Do you guys have anything, any last businesses to add before we head out and wish people good luck in their pre-release battles?
I think just shout outs, man.
Alright. Shout it out then. Alright, Cedric, you may start. Shout out.
I made it in time for the show, barely. Drove really fast, so that was fun. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the coverage in Dallas with me, Glenn, and Osip. I thought Osip did a really nice job. He was very scared coming into the weekend. As we were talking in the room, he was scared he might trip up over his own words and say some things he shouldn't. But I thought he did a really, really nice job this weekend. I'll be streaming this week, probably Jund in Modern, so I probably wouldn't watch. And wait, that's poor marketing. And then I'm gonna go to the pre-release. I think, even though I think there's online PTQs this weekend, but I think I just want to relax and just rock the pre-release. And yeah, then Glenn, are you with me in Atlanta? Right, I think in 2 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah,
I
I'm in
will
Atlanta in
definitely
2
be in
weeks.
Atlanta.
I have a weekend at home, the first one of the year, first weekend at home so far, so it's kind of nice. So that's about it.
Alright, Glenn, shout out.
Yeah, my next event is Atlanta with SETI. I'm not doing too much. I'll be playing some Mox prelims this week after the downtime, and I imagine I'll be streaming as well. Maybe perhaps those two ventures will intersect. Could happen. But beyond that, yeah, not a whole lot going on. Just back to the grind and looking forward to the next event and seeing how Gatecrash goes, because it's felt like this season has gone a while. I don't think that the standard was unhealthy or anything like that, but I'm actually really interested in just having a limited format I want to play on Moto again. So Gatecrash will be providing me with that soon enough.
Alright, Steven.
Thanks for watching, guys. I guess I can be excited for Gatecrash.
It's big of you.
Yeah. I mean, don't do it on our account. Like,
So what I am excited about is somewhere like someone in Wizards really likes blue-black, and they're mad right now. And what I'm excited about is like 3 years from now, we're gonna see that. We're gonna see some like I don't know what it's gonna be, but some stuff's brewing under the surface.
Well, there was like a time when they publicly said they were gonna power down blue, and wasn't that right before they went totally bonkers with like fairies and it just obliterated everything? Like there was like
they forced blue to play creatures, and it turned out the blue creatures
well,
were
there was
quite
like
good.
Cryptic
Yeah, and they
Command
gave
is
him
like
Delver.
kind of a card too, and there were some things that occurred there.
I'm very happy where blue's at right now. I'm getting a little tired of just like blue-white always. I feel like blue-white has been good for like 4 or 5 years. Just like some inception of blue-white in like some format, like when Jace was
Probably
legal.
longer
And
than that.
yeah,
Like,
I don't know the last time a blue-white deck was like unplayable. You're just like, yeah, what are you doing trying to play blue-white control or something? It's just always there. It's so boring to me.
So what do
on
you,
some level, I feel like that's really purposeful. Like people look for blue-white control, like it's one of those decks, like mono-black control. People are always just like, "Ooh, what am I gonna play for blue-white control this time around?" So when you disappoint those people, that's kind of a bummer. I can see them
What
like
happens?
specifically tailoring the design to like make those decks semi-viable at least.
Yeah,
so
I hate I
is
hate when you make these
Cawblade like
arguments.
the start of that for you, or
I feel
or does it
I
start before Cawblade?
I mean, we had like blue-white tap out in the Shards Jund era too.
yeah
Like whew,
yeah
it's been around.
Yeah, we had blue white tap out. I mean, I don't think you really can. I don't think you can include Mythic in that, but I think there was still blue white tap out even when Mythic was a deck. I think. And then like just moving forward, then there was Cawblade, which was just oppressive. And then then Geist Saint Trap showed up and Delver and stuff, and you go to modern or older formats like blue white's a thing there. Blue white's just boring to me. I mean, I know some people like love it or whatever. It's just not me.
I miss blue black, man. I miss Psychotog style decks. But I don't think those are coming back.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. So
Look, man, I just want to upheaval. That's all I want to do. All right.
thank you.
I just want to say thanks for watching and thanks for bearing with us through our various robotic forms. We do the best we can. And I will try and find a kazoo. That shouldn't be too hard, right? Should be able to find one. I live in a big city. I'm sure there are kazoos somewhere. Yeah, much like that. Thank you, Steven. All right.
If they have zoos in Canada.
Yes, I believe we have invented the kazoo here
I believe
in
you blow them
Kanadistan.
from a bag. Something like that.
Alright. See you later, guys.
Bye! I'm gonna keep waving.
I'm gonna wait a little while so I don't cut you off this time.
Till my hand hurts.
Just for you.